Okay. I'm just getting situated, ladies and gentlemen. This is my guest, Wesley Amorim. Is that how you pronounce? Is that a good way?
Well, I usually say Amorim.
Ah, Amorim.
Yeah,
It's a
yes.
Brazilian thing, right?
Yeah, I don't think nobody over here would ever say this in this way, but that's how we say it there. Amorim.
Amorim. Okay, I gotta, do that. I gotta study that a little more. I sing a little bit in Portuguese, but you know, apparently I'm not, I'm not there yet.
This is I love the way people say my name. Whatever they say, I always love it. I always feel it's beautiful.
Ah, all right, I'm just getting a little more situated. Wesley, I'm doing my featuring. I have to do this so that people can know what's going on. Okay, looking good. Select. Noontime hangs. Done. While I'm doing this, I'm going to tell everybody that after Wesley's um, after Wesley's interview here, I'm going to interview Rocco Somazi. Hi, Mark. Who is the creator of the Angel City Jazz Festival. I don't know if you know this, Wesley, but there's this festival on um, this week. Do you know about this festival?
I didn't know about this, and I'm like excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's this week. Okay, good. I'm all set. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they refer to it as a creative music festival. Creative music. It's can be free. It can be avant-garde. It could be modern. Um, it's a lot of different things. He's been doing it for 18 years,
Wow.
and he's a really interesting man. He actually has been a consultant for the Blue Whale, and he owned his own places. You probably know Vibrato, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So before Vibrato, Herb Alpert actually bought his restaurant, which was called Rocco's. So when Rocco's was operating, it was the only place in town that had modern jazz music. This was prior to the Blue Whale, and anyway, Rocco is amazing. So he's created this 10-day festival all around town. Last night was it last night? Uh, no, the night before we were at the Red Cat. I've been volunteering for it. The night before that, it was LACMA. Tonight, it's at the World Stage. It's all around town. It's
This is so
it's really
exciting.
great. It's very exciting. It's very high quality music, and I can just say basic bottom line is creative music. It makes your mind go, wow, I like this.
Yes.
It's really
We
cool.
we need that. We
I
need that.
know, I agree. So, okay, now that I have arrived in my brain, maybe. I might need another cup of coffee. Anyway, I have a husband, so he can get me the coffee.
He can do it. He can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
So, Wesley, so maybe the first time I heard you was at Kulak's. I can't remember who you were playing with. You were playing with somebody, and
Oh,
do you remember?
John left Twitch.
Okay, okay. So John Leftich, my compadre. So, so, and I was very stunned, and I loved it. Then I think, well, I don't know if I've seen you that much. I saw you with Ted Falcon's band. That was so beautiful and musical. Oh my God, that was such great music. And I also saw you with that singer at that studio in Santa Monica.
Oh,
I was,
I think Valentina Shelton.
yeah, I was really surprised to see you. And it was basically a guitar trio with an occasional piano addition. But Yeah, that was great. Ahmet and Jean Coy, was it? Or
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, on drums.
that was amazing. And then, um, uh, what was the recent thing I saw you at? It went out of my head.
I think we saw each other. Did you go to I think you went also to Ted's house or something. He did
Well, that's where, yeah, that's when I saw you with Ted, Ted Found.
wasn't at the release party. Oh, okay, it was that day. Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Well, maybe the last time was the Valentina show. Maybe anyway, if you hear Wesley playing, sorry, I'm going to embarrass you right now. If you hear, or maybe not, but if you hear Wesley playing, your mouth will be dropped open and your ears will be so full of joy. And I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful seeing and hearing you play. I'm
Uh,
just so I'm so kind of, blown away by your playing. Really
Thank you so much.
wonderful,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much. I remember I had a hard time before when somebody would say anything. Oh, I like your playing. I remember I always used to convince the person that the person was wrong. I was like, no, you don't know what you were talking about, you know. And today I'm just like, I'm so grateful that, somehow our music touched someone. This
Yeah,
is it's a
yeah.
great thing. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thanks for,
You're
I'm so
welcome.
glad you like it.
Well, let's for a minute we'll talk honestly about this particular subject because I actually have an experience when I'm teaching as well. If somebody really good comes in as a student, they want me to teach them. They don't want me to just say, "Oh, you're really good."
Right,
You know.
right,
So I have to, as part of my job, I have to notice and talk about,
right.
what they could improve or, you know. So I think when you're a really good player, and I mean, I'm sure you can accept the fact that you're a really good player. Now, where is the level in your own personal point of view of yourself? Where is the level that you carry around and, that you can accept in your own thinking of yourself or not accept, like you were saying, no, 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 I'm not that good. Um, and it's an interesting, I think it's really interesting to talk about. I mean, people like Sting or, somebody big, they're a human being, so
Right.
they're definitely there. It exists in there, what they think of themselves and what others think of them. And, how do you balance that? Um, I just think it's an interesting subject, to talk
Yep,
about. What do you
yep.
think? What do you think about that, just kind of not about you particularly, but about that whole, you know.
Well, this is this complex, but let me see. I think as humans, right? Every day we are dealing with what we learned the day before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then like, okay, and then that is something that you did in the day before that you like it, and there are things that you didn't like from the day before,
Yeah.
and and then it seems that okay, tomorrow I have the chance to try to fix what I did in the day before, but sometimes are you gonna take advantage of what you did that was positive?
Yeah.
But sometimes things get so complicated that now you are spending more time trying to fix this that maybe you think that you have to fix, that you don't have to fix anything, but something also that you heard in the day before, some insecurity told you that you have to do this.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think this whole process is just part of life. And I think music is just like shows that.
Yeah.
Like, at least to me, I see me developing as a human being, and there are many things that I don't like in myself, and there are things that I like it, and there are things that I thought that I couldn't like about myself
Yeah.
because these were things, cultural things that we learn
Yeah.
that we think though this is not enough or this is not as good because maybe the acceptance at that place you don't have it, and then I mean, I'm in the United States. I wasn't born here. I'm kind of looking for a place.
Yeah.
You go, and I think my music. I think that's what I feel. Is like I could maybe go more straight in things that I think I like about what I do, things that I don't like, what I would go. But it's pretty much, I think this is gonna be until the last day of my life. There will be things that are like, ah, man, I still do this. Oh, I did this. Like, and things that I go, whoa, that was great. You know, it's, we can go more specific to details, but just talking now, I think just music's a perspective of how we live in real life. It's just that, that's how I am in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And I totally agree. Like, um, over the years, I noticed that uh, a lesson of life or whatever technology or a lesson would relate exactly to other things. So I wrote this little book, as a matter of fact, here it is, The Act of Becoming,
Ooh,
during the pandemic. And what's in it is showing how lessons connect from life to playing jazz to voice technique. It's all literally the same lesson can be applied to all of those things. Why those three things is because those three things are things I know about. But I mean, it's endless what the lessons can apply to in your life.
right.
You don't even have to be a musician. It could be anything.
Yeah,
But so I absolutely agree with you, and it's interesting that you put it that way. That the music is actually a way to um, observe, I guess, observe and witness that lesson. We're so lucky to have music for that, aren't we? I
yep.
mean, wow.
Well, I have a special thing with music. I think music was my hope in life. I mean, like it gave meaning
Yeah.
to many things, you know. Of course, I love life without music, but the music was something that I think music was the language that could make me understand things, even if they are not an understanding like very literal.
Yeah.
But it would make sense to me. The music was what I found music very young, and music was how I could somehow find a way to
Yeah.
it would make sense to wake up every day because of music. And I don't know, it's some sort of I don't want to say the word God, but it's kind of like that. It's like, this is what I feel, I don't want to go to put people's, that because people might not like what I'm saying, but that's what I feel. It was just like a guide. It was like this beauty. It's like a sun, this
Yeah.
beautiful sun. That, okay, comes. I give you this light here,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm very grateful for music. The music was a beautiful thing in my life, and now I have this whole community that shares that, and the community that goes to enjoy it. It's an unbelievable power that we have as human beings, music, I think.
You won't believe this, or maybe you will. I mean, I don't talk with a lot of people who state it like you just stated it, but that's how I feel. And I've always felt that. I feel like music is my connection to God.
Yeah,
And like what you just described, I could tangibly feel, and it made me want to almost cry because that and I totally get like the hope. It's like that feeling, that connection. That's like I started when I was young too. My family life was kind of fucked up. So, but music was always there, and it was always like a connection. And
yep,
um, yeah, again, I feel very like I want to cry. I mean, it was my friend forever. It helped me, it soothed me, it led me, it gave me lessons, brought me joy, touched my emotions. I mean, it's
yeah,
amazing. It's an
yeah.
amazing, amazing gift. I'm just
It's and
incredibly
it's
thankful.
because I used to say that music was a language, but I think it goes beyond language. I think it goes beyond language. When I remember once I was busking in New York City, and with this man that he was playing, and I didn't speak English at that time, but we were playing together, and then eventually there is people coming to talk to me, right? And I didn't know how to talk to them, so I was just like, and then I remember the only thing I would to do was like, I'm sorry, I don't speak English. And I remember this woman saying like at the subway, you don't have to speak English, you speak music. And I remember that. And I used to think that that was a language. But then I was seeing it's beyond language, because there are times that we don't need to actually understand the communication of like I give. It's not about, because language is not supposed to like I say something and it somehow you understand this, but it's beyond that. It's just like, I don't know why. Like you might touch a place in someone's with a note that they don't understand that place, but you
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah, and
So
you couldn't use words probably to
yeah,
actually touch that place,
yeah, yeah.
you
And
know?
and this thing about you doing something that is meaningful to you, that somehow the other person takes it and gets emotional for something that's totally personal, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
very, very, very interesting. So yeah, it's, I don't know how people would say, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a god, like a direction, a sun or something.
Yeah, yeah. We are so lucky. So, okay, so you already told me that you, hi Joyce. You already told me that you started when you were younger. Um, so were you, I know Brazil is probably very different than America. You know, music is a lot more present, I think, and accepted and joined in, you know. But so how about growing up? Like your family, were they musical? What was that like? Was it musical? I mean, what happened to
Oh,
stimulate
oh,
you on your way?
yeah. So I come from like the low income part of São Paulo,
Okay.
where all the migrants from the northeast of Brazil usually go. So my
Ah,
mom is from actually from the northeast.
yeah.
In northeast is where we have forró, we have all these genres, right? But the thing is, like, my family, like my mom is from northeast, my dad was raised on the south, which is totally different. Brazil, if you see Brazil, is like the United States
Yeah, it's
from
big.
west to east.
Yeah.
Like it's not to west. It's like very big country in different cultures within the same country. So my mom and my dad, they found each other on church. So I was raised actually in church from this like low income neighborhood. They used to have a lot of migrants from the Northeast. So it was very interesting because there was a lot of music. I didn't have musicians in my family. So if I say like, oh, I didn't have any example of a musician in my family, but we had the church, and I remember we had this, because I like to mention that because of this mix of migrants inside of Brazil, we had only Christian music, but that Christian music had influence from the Northeast. So it was very interesting. So I started learning in my church those genres. That's how I say that. The genres from Brazil, but they were in Christian versions. So I used to play forró, all this music, because my church people would make Christian versions of that, but also traditional
Okay.
choir.
Wait, I have to stop you because I'm trying to wrap my brain around what that might sound like. I mean, what, how did that actually work? You
So
know,
imagine that you have like a bebop, right? Or
yeah.
not a bebop instrumental song. Let's imagine like a blues,
Okay.
like a Robert Johnson or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But imagine that church cannot have those subjects, so they're gonna make a Christian version of Robert.
Musically and I mean
Just in
lyrically
the
or
lyrics and a thematic idea, we would have, because we want could have the Christian themes. But I was actually learning this music from that part of
wow.
Brazil. Of course, also the traditional church songs.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So the same ones that you guys gonna have here, the hymns
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So music touched me when I was very young, when I would go to church. And I remember the one that touched me the most was the choirs playing the hymns. But the thing is, I didn't really care about what they were saying. I
Yeah.
just cared about what I felt. So music started with me like that in church. I didn't have music instruments at home, but started playing drums. I was a drummer. I remember I was a kid. I used to watch the drummer in church. Before the real drums, we have those electronic drums that used to play like here. I don't know if you know them. It was a thing that you had a block that because the church couldn't have drums because it was like a
Oh.
vulgar instrument or something like that. We could not have drums. So
Oh.
they had this thing that, and I used to see this drum set, and then they got a bigger one, a Yamaha ones that was pods, and then we got the real drums. When the real drums came to church, it changed my life. And then I remember I used to watch that thing, and I said, the day that you let me play, I can play drums. I remember I saying that, and then I could see the hands, so I actually started playing. But because I couldn't see the feet, I didn't know what to do with the kick drum. But so I started like that. Eventually, in church, the best drum was the one that could play, and they always would take me away. So, and then that's why I
Wait,
started playing other instruments.
they would take you away
Like
from
they wouldn't let me play. And so I was so excited about playing, but they're like, no, no, you are not good enough. So you're
oh.
not gonna play. I was a kid, and then eventually I was like, okay. And then we started having music lessons. My mom said, I wanted you to play saxophone. But it wasn't jazz, it was church music, right? And then I was like, but saxophone was very expensive. So we couldn't have a saxophone, I had a clarinet. So I started playing clarinet, and nobody would let me play in church. So my dad used to know a few chords. And then eventually he would accompany when I used to play those church melodies. And I heard, I was like, oh, I think that's when I started learning by ear, because I saw my dad playing a little bit. And then I was like, oh, if I play the guitar. I used to go in the days that nobody wanted to go in the church. So on Tuesdays, because there are the days that they were talking about Bible and teaching you things like that, and nobody would go. So I started playing on those Tuesday nights guitar in church. And we had to play by ear. My church didn't have a lot of amazing singers. And so they would change the key in the middle of the song. We had to kind of go around. It was very interesting. So I started music that, like around, I think I probably 9 years old, there was drums. But guitar came when I was 11. Became from the frustration of not being a drummer.
Yeah.
I think that's my first teacher was when I think I was 12 or 13. And then the things changed the direction. Once I had my first teacher, and then music got like a little different in my life. But before it was, just learning by ear in church and things like that. It was,
Interesting. Wow, I can really see it. That's great. Something's just sticking in my mind. What do you think of being that Brazilian music doesn't really, well, I'm just speaking of what I know. I might be wrong, but from what I've seen, Brazilian music doesn't use a real full drum set. It's more percussive type of drums, and like what you were just saying. Do you think actually the church had something to do with the development of that, or? Uh,
well, I think the folkloric music, the folk, the tradition. We have a lot of from of course from Africa.
yeah, yeah,
So, and then we're gonna have separate percussion instruments,
yeah,
percussive instruments, right?
yeah,
And so all of these music genres, they have that influence of separate percussion instruments. But the thing is, American music was there, you know. And so the drum set is it's like I'm gonna say this can be dangerous, but I'm gonna say our country, Brazil, is very racist. So I'm gonna tell you something like so.
Yeah.
Church would accept more what was influenced by the US than what was influenced by our folkloric music. So we
Yeah.
couldn't have whatever that would show us as Afro people. They would prefer to have the
Oh.
organ, European things. They had a hard time to accept anything percussive. And I think that's is in within our own way we were raised. It's like, we come from, the history. So
Yeah.
so percussion, like the drum set came eventually, but eventually they start putting the drum set playing traditional music. So every Brazilian drummer, they have their own style of playing how they think supposed to sound that folkloric rhythm, because the drum set wasn't the reality. The reality was the separate instruments. So each Brazilian drummer have their own language.
Ah.
But I'm not sure. I just know from the perspective of the church, they had a hard time to accept percussion. They really had a hard time to accept percussion. Like in that, I'm gonna tell you that I first heard anything that was Christian. So they would like to hide a little bit many things from folkloric music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I actually learned like Brazilian music, folkloric Brazilian music in the streets and kind of hidden from church. It was a
Yeah.
little fight, you know.
Yeah.
And then life starts, you know. Whenever I somebody said like, "Oh, you cannot play that music," that's when my life starts. When somebody said like, "You cannot make that music," and then we're gonna have, I'm not sure if I changed the subject, but it goes there.
Okay. Interesting. What? Oh, Roland, my friend Roland Ascaruns, he says, this is his quote. Wesley Amorim, a subtle musical genius. His playing doesn't scream at you, but suddenly you find yourself saying, "Damn, what did he just do there? That was genius."
Thank
He's a
you.
guitarist too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother.
I agree with you. Oh, and Ted Falcon is here.
My brother, my
He's like,
brother. He has trusted me
Grande
all
Wesley.
for many different projects. I love him. I love him.
Ted's really special. Yeah.
A genius too. He's a crazy.
Oh, I know.
He's
I
insane.
feel that too. I feel he's a genius. Yeah. I interviewed him and it was like, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was some point when uh so I'm just going back to your kind of childhood coming up. You started playing guitar, you were young, and then at some point, did it just kind of gradually happen that you started playing with people, or was there some kind of sudden point like I turned 17 and then I was, doing it?
I know. I think it was like as I said, because it was music was part of a community. I
Yeah.
play with people since the first day, right? So I used to play with the community in church. But then when I was 13, I had my first guitar teacher. I think at 12 to 13, and then I started learning these guitars that like pop guitarists, like those rock metal guitarists. I started going into this thing. I was like, oh my god! And then church wouldn't let me play those genres, so I would have to go out of church to play with other people to play
Right.
that music. So I
Yeah.
was already playing with people since always,
Yeah.
and always jamming.
Yeah.
I think when jazz comes to me later, when I was 15, 16, I already had that experience of not playing by the book.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
already by jamming with
Yeah.
people. So always jamming. So I would say professionally, I started playing when I was from 16 to 17. And I started playing. I think first job that I did paid was in a gospel band.
Was
So I
what?
used in the gospel band. I used to play guitar for
Okay.
the gospel
Yeah.
music group. But at that
Yeah.
same time, I started playing samba with a trio as well. So was this I started going already, and I was already into jazz at that time. So professionally, I think I started being called to play when I was around 17. But I was before that I was already playing with different people. I was playing like I used to go to church to play that, but then church wouldn't have jazz. So I would go to play jazz with other people. I used to play rock with other people. The thing that I would say is just like I never had a style that I liked the most.
Yeah.
I was always stubborn. So if everybody, oh, you're gonna be a rock guy, and then I was like, no, 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 I want to learn the jazz. And then when I would go to jazz guys, they're like, oh, so you a jazzer? I was like, no, no, I play rock too. I was always fighting with people to not be in just one music genre. But I think I didn't have a. I'm not sure if I answered.
You did.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You did answer. Yeah. I'm just thinking. Actually, let's listen to some music again. And I'm going to share my screen, and you're gonna direct me again. Let's see. I'm going on YouTube again, and I'm typing in your name. Whoops. Yep, here you are. Okay, and I'm going
The second
to
one in there, yeah. Maybe we should go to the releases in there.
the releases.
Yeah.
Okay,
On
yeah.
yeah, on top, because then I have my albums in there, things that uh I mean there is this arrangement that I did for this classic tune called Aham by João Donato. It's the fourth one in there.
Right here.
Over there, I have Oriente Lopes playing with me piano. I have Taguara Brandão playing on bass, Samuel Martinelli on drums.
Uh-huh.
So there was an arrangement that we did on quarantine times that I
Okay.
released, but we
Yeah.
recorded remotely.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Good. I saw something that you did with Kenya too.
Oh yes, I love her.
Yeah.
We actually have an entire album arranged because I went to her house in quarantine, like before quarantine.
Oh.
We are going to record an album in duo.
Uh,
So and then we released just one from that album, but because it was the only, but we have an entire album that I hope one day we can finish. But quarantine came and interrupted.
it interrupted a lot of stuff. Okay, here we go. This is how did you
It,
pronounce it?
it's Ahan. Han, it's the frog.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a Brazilian jazz standard. It's a classic one that
Yeah.
people play in jam sessions.
Oh, is that what this song is?
Yeah, the name of the
Okay.
song is The Frog. It's a very cool song by João Donato and Caetano Veloso.
Okay.
So this is my own arrangement for that song.
Okay, cool. Here we go. beautiful.
Why is Amazon paying me 600?
I don't know. I'm not
You
sure
should
why
have.
Amazon is paying you that money, really. Okay, so oh my God. Ah, wow, that was really beautiful. What year was that made?
I think that was, we recorded this, it was probably in 2020. I think the end of 2020. It
Oh,
was
okay.
right on pandemic because we
Did
did this
you?
remotely.
Oh, I was going to ask you, were you in Brazil when you did it, or?
I was in Newark, New Jersey
Oh,
because I moved to California on 2021.
uh-huh.
And I moved from Brazil to New York City when I was Newark City, New Jersey. Depends. I used to live in different places there. But in 2014, there was around 2020 was like, I think it was right when pandemic was like
Yeah.
like very terrible. And then we were like, okay, let's make some music. And then I had this whole session of arrangements that I did on remotely. Actually, I can tell you, I don't know, that was actually when my life changed because I always wanted to be an arranger.
Uh-huh.
Was kind of, I always liked the idea. I always loved the arrangers. I
Yeah.
remember in the albums, I used to go and read who were the arrangers. And I was always playing. And in pandemic, I remember, wow, we have no work, we have nothing to do. I am gonna just start arranging and said and composing, and that's why I moved to California because I was like, I want to go to California now and pursue that dream that I always had to arrange and to compose. Of
Hmm.
course, play as well, but that was part of this. So I tried to make my own arrangement of the.
It's beautiful. I mean, I don't know the song, but hear I can hear the overall arrangement that's really beautiful and uh yeah, it's beautiful. The changes of rhythm and the dynamics and who's playing what and yeah, it was really very beautiful. I don't know those people. Are they all Brazilian?
No, three of them are.
Uh-huh.
Taiguara Brandão is a bassist. He's Brazilian. He lives in New York for a long time. He's a very amazing. He's an amazing bassist. Has recorded with so many people,
Hmm.
and he's like was kind of the one of the guys when anybody that would come here to the United States. Marcus Valle would play. He was the bassist. He used to play with like all everybody that would come
Tell me
here.
his name again.
Itaiguara Brandão.
Okay.
So, and he was the bassist in there. There is this Brazilian drummer Samuel Martinelli. He 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 was recording in that too because we used to play a lot together. And that is this genius Cuban Oriente Lopes. He's a Cuban musician. He used to play with million names that I told you that Paquito de Rivera.
Ah, okay.
He's like Oriente was like I think one of the people that I played that had the most complicated music that I had to play. I remember with him. He's complicated but amazing. Like he's a genius. He's playing piano there and flute. He plays both equally. I think he's a pianist. He called himself a pianist, but that's him playing the flute and the
Yeah.
piano. He's so Oriente
Yeah.
Lopes. It's not gonna find a lot of his things. So he doesn't post so much, but he's one I think the most genius that I've ever met.
What was the yeah, Roland mentioned the flute player was special. Um, what was the process? I mean, on a piece like this, what do you start with? Do you start with guitar or
The thing, the way we collaborated was like that. Uh, I created my own arrangement and reharmonization of the tune. The tune is very simple.
okay.
It's 2/5, 2/5, 2/5 all the time, and change a little bit. It's a very fun tune to play. And then I kind of create, I changed it one part to three. I did the arrangement part
Yeah.
of this, and then I did the sketch on Logic.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of recorded like a piano guide,
Yeah.
and then I recorded piano guide, the guitar, and then I remember I sent to the drummer, and then he recorded, and then the bass came in, and then we sent to Oriente, who recorded real piano and flute, and I think I recorded the guitar. I re-recorded the guitar then afterwards. I think it was
See,
something
to
like that.
me,
I
I
was
mean,
trying out.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of astounding to me that it sounds so beautiful that one would imagine that you have to play live together to get that feeling, you know.
Yeah, this
Really beautiful.
I think that was the challenge of that time for all of us as humans. Like, how
Yeah.
are we gonna keep doing this? See if we cannot see each other. I think that was the very challenging time. And I took advantage on the time that I was like, okay, now I'm gonna arrange and get. So I recorded like an album with a person in Hawaii, with a guitarist in Hawaii that we did remotely at that time as well. That time was prolific because I could be home making these arrangements and creating. So, and that was this challenge of how are we gonna make this sound that we are not.
Yeah.
So the idea was I recorded something that he responded to, and now I recorded over what he responded to my other instrument, and then I deleted the other instrument.
Right, right, right.
So I'm responding to a response from something that is not there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? That was
Very
the time.
interesting. Was
Hopefully, I
something.
don't want to be doing a lot of remotes right now. I want to be in person, but
Yeah.
that was that time.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Yeah. I almost got into Logic. I have a setup here, and I never quite walked over the line to do it. You know, it was. I mean, I talked about it with people, and then just it just didn't happen. And there was that Brazilian singer. She's kind of famous, and I was fascinated. Like she kept coming up with all these groups that were high level artists, you know, and I was like, she couldn't be in the same area as all of these people. She must be doing it remote, and they even looked like they were looking at each other.
Ah,
And
Mônica Salmazo.
yeah,
Yeah, she was
I mean, it was
wonderful.
like, yeah, it was incredible. That
Yeah.
was that was a really incredible time.
I
And
used to go in Brazil see her
oh
playing,
yeah, yeah,
and I was in love with her music. I was so impressed by Monica.
yeah,
I remember me going to see her, and it was a different thing. So her videos were very great on pandemic. She could find a way to make it a real thing.
yeah, incredible. That
Yeah.
was really great. Yeah. I actually started the show the day of the pandemic, March 20th, because I was suddenly like, oh my God, I can't do my normal thing, which is, you know,
Right.
going out there and seeing people and putting together things. And so I just wanted to get online and talk to people. And my friend in, she was like in Sweden or somewhere. She came on, you know, just on Facebook Live, and I said, "Hey, you want to come on? I'll send you like a Zoom link and everything." And we had a 2 hour conversation like that. And I thought, oh, I'll just keep doing this, you know? So you're actually number 644.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank
This
you.
is that's what I'm saying. It was a tragedy for the world. It was a sad time for the world, but at the same time, it showed us some resilience. You know, we just like it was an interesting time. It's like it was dark. I
Yeah.
cannot, but at the same time, all these things I think my life changed after that.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people, I think.
Yeah, it's
A
just
lot.
not. It's not. It's like the
Yeah.
way I think music also changed. The way I look at life,
Yeah.
and I don't take life for granted as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I
it was
think, yes, I think a lot of people felt like that. All of a sudden, like I remember even hearing like, oh, like a violinist in an orchestra was suddenly thrust into a personal emergency because she had always thought of herself as a violinist in the orchestra, and now all of a sudden she wasn't.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's just
so, yeah, there was a lot of people going through that and like, well, I'm not going into work now. What am I doing?
what am I, right? What am
Yeah,
I without work?
yeah, yeah,
That was, I remember that when we couldn't leave the house, and I used to live in a very small room in Jersey. I used to rent this like 450, like a $450 room in Jersey that I lived there where I produced a lot of things because I didn't want to just, I remember I wanted to make my own music and not just go to play whatever to survive. I remember I was like, I prefer to live poorly, but I remember that time was my choice.
yeah,
So I was in that room, and then when we couldn't work, I remember I was fine. I was like, okay, it's 450. I can make 450. I
yeah,
remember. I was like, I can, so I'm gonna make music. And then I remember when I used to go to the supermarket,
yeah,
and I remember having something that we had things to buy so we could eat. I remember the emotion that I have. I was like, oh my God, we still have lettuce. We have tomatoes here. We have food. And then all of my musical dreams, because I had that tour, I had a tour coming up on Switzerland. I was recording this album with Kenya. I was recording another album with Louis Simas, a pianist. We had all these dreams. I was about to buy a studio apartment. I had all these dreams. And then eventually I was like, I'm not these dreams. I'm a person that is alive. And I have way to be alive. I have food here. I remember seeing at the market. So it just changed. It was like, I'm not my work. The work's part of me. But we breathe. Like it's I still have my, it was very interesting. At the same time, made me, I think, more sensitive as an artist that time.
that's so cool. Yeah, that's a, a dramatic realization.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Um, let's see. So I'm just thinking, kind of visualizing you in that moment of time, and then you decide. And what year did you come here again?
2021.
Okay.
2021. I bought a
So,
van, and I wanna, at that time I was going to this like researching about time, home living, van life living. I was trying to kind of live remotely. I wanted to like, not be in the place. I was going through this, and then I said like, I want to try to do this in California. And then I bought like a GMC Safari, and I made I put in a studio inside of it, and then I had my partner. Like at that time, I had a partner that was with me, and she's like, "Oh, let's go to California." And then we came here. We stayed a little bit in the van, and then I realized that wasn't it wasn't very welcoming. Somebody living in a van here in California. I saw another political issues, and then was like, oh, this is not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be very welcomed if I have this kind of life. I wanted to have it, but then I realized that wasn't that easy. And then eventually, but that's how I came to California. I stayed a little bit in my van. I recorded for like people in my van. I have releases at that time that I did in my van.
oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, it took me 11 days to arrive here.
Where did you park your van somewhere, generally speaking, like in a certain
First
town?
day, I parked in Malibu. I was just like, I'm gonna park in Malibu. The first day, it was Malibu. It was amazing, right? But then, life starts coming. It was like, oh, okay, this is not as amazing as it seems. And then I was changing places. Then it was very stressful. And then we got an Airbnb in San Pedro. My van was like robbed.
Oh,
People, so a lot of things happened at that time, and then I was like, oh, I guess I cannot be in the And then I rented a room in El Monte, and then my van life dream, it wasn't the dream anymore.
That's so charmingly what's the word, like innocent basically. It's like,
Yeah, that was,
oh.
I thought that I thought that with the van life, that's what I had in my mind. That I was coming to Los Angeles and I would be an assistant of a film composer. And then I didn't have to be paid because I was living in my van. So I could have the opportunity to work with somebody. But it's not like that. So I tried to do that. I came here, I reached out. So many people say, like, I wanna help you, I wanna be your assistant. I wanna to just be assistant of somebody because I wanted to go in to make music for movies. And and it didn't work like that. I was like, okay, I guess I have to have my studio. And then the van life, it was good for that moment. It was, but that's how I moved here.
Yeah, yeah. um how did you meet John Leftwich?
Oh, I think this was because of Ted Falcons when he was recording his album.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was, yep.
So Ted was doing his album. Uh, we were starting to do a trio with it was me, Ted Falcon, and Douglas Laura. This is amazing guitarist. Um, and we were starting to do like a trio album. We were working on that, but at the same time, Ted wanted to do his album, and then we focused on his album instead. And he recorded at the Jones Studio. That's
Right.
when I met. That's when I met Don't Left Beach.
Cool. John's so musical.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a really
he's
great person.
incredible. He was
Yeah.
incredible, and then he's his studio is great. He knows how to deal. His music's great,
Yeah,
and so it was. That's how I met John Leftwich.
that's great. We play together, relatively often, and he's actually been my engineer producer on several of my records, and his taste is really quality. He's a really good mixer, and
Yes, he is.
he'll take out certain things out of the whole mix that really have a good effect. It leaves space, dynamics.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the
yeah, yeah.
records that he mixed for
And he
me, I thought was
plays.
great.
He plays amazingly. Like he's amazingly in tune.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
he's like like it's you know acoustic bass is not an easy instrument to play in tune, and
yeah,
but he plays in that perspective. He knows that he's gonna play something that also is gonna have to sound good in the mixing. So he knows the place to put the right the right notes, the right
yeah,
texture. This is very good, amazing musician.
yeah. We're playing together on Halloween at this place in. You should get a gig there if you haven't. Visionarium
Oh,
in
cool,
Pasadena.
awesome.
Be a
I am
fun place
supposed
for
to
you to play.
actually to call him to play a gig with me in this, and sometimes I play at the Calvets, the veterans homes, and sometimes I invite him to play with me there with my partner singing with my group called Amorimar. And I actually have to call him because we have a gig, and then I have to actually call him like, oh man, we are thinking of you, but I still didn't message. So if he's like listening to it, know that I'm eventually I have to call him and call him for a gig.
You know, I used to book a place downtown inside it's behind the Disney Hall, and it's inside a Thai vegan restaurant called Olak, and I booked it for 2.5 years. It was called Bar Fedora. Like literally, you go into the restaurant to the back. There's a door, and inside is like a club.
How cool!
So during the pandemic, it stopped, and but now my friend Sydney Jacobs and I are putting money in and fixing it up. And as a matter of fact, last month, Ted came and sat in actually. Amy Molinelli, Eva Scow, and Nando Duarte had
Oh,
this
amazing.
beautiful shorto group,
Amazing.
and we put it in there. And anyway, it's so we're actually booking it. If you have something, I'll send you information. If you have something you might want to present to your audience, it's a beautiful, intimate, great space.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you do a lot for the community. So it's so good that it's so relieving to know that we have somebody like you, making things happen. So definitely, definitely, definitely.
Thank you. I'll send you information. It's really good. Um, Also, I'm just sorry, I'm gonna take this opportunity to tell people listening, after Wesley's interview, stay near the computer because at 2:15 to about 2:45, I'm gonna talk to Rocco Samazi, and a lot of you know, I'm just gonna make it. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about the Angel City Jazz Festival, which Rocco created 18 years ago, happens once a year, over 10 days. It's happening right now. It's it's super, super creative music. It's great, high quality. And anyway, Rocco owned Vibrato before it was Vibrato. It was Rocco's. And anyway, he's a lovely human being. And so at 2:15, we're going to have a short interview with him. Um, so let's see. I'm looking at I'm thinking in my head of, oh, somebody asked you something, right? Oh, thanks, Ted. Roland wanted to know the name of that fantastic singer flutist who traveled from Brazil to California and points between. She was at Ted Falcon's first home backyard concert, but Ted came on too. So he said Mariana Bruekers, something like
Oh, right, 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 right.
that. Okay, cool.
And she did like I came with my van from New York here. She came with her car from Brazil. She drove all the way here. I don't know
She
if you
did?
remember that. That's incredible.
Oh my
Incredible.
God.
She had the Brazilian plate. I I look at that, I was like, okay, man, this is another level. It's another level of so amazing.
Oh my God. Um, well, you have done so many different musics, genres and stuff. And I've seen several myself, but is I guess I mean I'm hesitating because the question probably seems a little
Don't
unnecessary.
hesitate in anything.
I was going to ask you if you had a favorite direction or favorite music that you play, but I kind of feel you don't, probably because of what you've said. I mean, you like whatever's happening in the moment. Wouldn't that be safer to say?
Yeah, it's I have phases. I have phases. Uh, because I like the music, the music is how people react to the music and its
Yeah.
context, right? So
Yeah.
I have a hard time when I lose the context of the music. When I'm forcing my music through a context, I have this hard time. So there are some times I remember, of course, when I started, I used to like a lot of blues, jazz, rock. I think those are the things that I played the most in Brazilian folkloric music. Like I like chorinho, I like samba. But then I start seeing like popular music in a different way. I used to see the popular music like I wouldn't like musically so much, but that music inside of that context, it would make so much sense and would be much greater than any other music genre because that was being part of of a community meaning. So Happy Birthday to me, it's still the best song played for the birthday party. I don't want. So I like the idea of, okay, if I am playing in a spiritual ritual, I like the idea of being part of that spiritual ritual. I've played for spiritual communities after I left my church. I played for so many different kinds of religions. And so I embrace that music when I am there. So when you call me to play rock, I am gonna embrace that thing, gonna go there. If you call me to play blues, country, I did a lot of things, through my life. I've played in country bands. I played samba, chorinho, jazz, big bands. I played for musicals, Broadway musicals. So things like, and I remember what I like the most is I am serving the purpose of that music in that context, if it makes sense. And it might change. Right now, as a Brazilian musician here in LA, and I was in New York, it made sense a lot to play a lot of Brazilian music. Because I think that's what I was serving the most. How can I better serve than to bring that music that that's fewer people than do that than if I was doing country here, And then it made sense. But it's also, I can tell you that I moved to the United States. One of the reasons was to play Brazilian music, because of the market of Brazilian music, the music that I wanted to do in Brazil, it wasn't very big. It was hard to make a living playing bossa nova. As we know, bossa nova is big out of Brazil, but bossa nova in Brazil is not the same thing. Bossa nova kind of ended in the 70s. Of course, we do have a market, but I also realized the privileged people who used to be more in touch with that music. And it was hard for me to get into these gigs. I felt like a social challenge to go and play bossa nova in Brazil, because I felt the social difference. As you know, bossa nova is a song from Rio de Janeiro, from the rich part of Rio de Janeiro. So it was. I felt that, and then I was like, I'm going to the US as a Brazilian, and I'm gonna play that music there because I know they love that music there. I remember all the jazz guys that I liked. I was like, they all played Brazilian music. So I was like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go play Brazilian music. So of course I have this very strong passion about my culture. So I wouldn't say that's the one that I like the most, but of course it's something that I feel that was part of me facing who I am. I'm like, oh, this is who I am. Yeah. I come from this. I want to show this. So I would say that Brazilian music is the one that probably is the one that I put more time to it and heart to it. It's not because I like it more, but it just I think it makes sense to me. Brazilian music would be that if I had to answer something to someone. It has jazz, it has blues, it has African, it has European. I got orchestra in there. I got arrangements. I got everything I want in that style of music, in Brazilian music in general. And so I think that would be the one. I said, okay, I have to do one thing. Maybe I would probably choose this one.
Interesting. That's a great answer. Also, I did not know bossa nova was from Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, people
I know that.
might get confused between samba and bossa nova, right?
Yeah.
Because it can get political. But
Oh.
but bossa nova, it was music created by privileged, amazing people and they were amazing people wanting to pray love, to pray a lot of beautiful things, but from a privileged angle, right? And as samba is the people.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to ask you to explain that a little more. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Is that like people like Jobim?
Yes, yes. It's I. What I'm gonna say, I am a lover of bossa nova.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had the opportunity to produce one song with Roberto Menescal, which is one of bossa nova creators, the one that composed the Barquinho, the little boat.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to go and meet him in person. One of the most beautiful, most sensitive people I ever met in my life. I love bossa nova. I love bossa nova. I had the chance to hear from Roberto's perspective, the way he wanted to do with bossa nova, and that it's beautiful. What I would say from my background, it was like also bossa nova was important, but samba, which was the one that came before, it was the music of the people from poverty,
From where?
from poverty,
Oh,
from the
poverty.
low incomes, from the
Yeah.
favelas, from
Okay.
all these places. This is the samba. So samba's gonna talk about the themes. They're gonna talk about, that they are not, that they don't have, and they're gonna make jokes with it. They're gonna be very amazing making poems, but they are telling you life is not easy. They are telling you the complications, and when bossa nova came, like it became everything. It's the sea, and everything is amazing. Which, well, of course, it's a perspective. That's why I don't blame bossa nova.
Yeah.
But people use bossa nova, of course, as a way to also show that, and not show the other parts that were like people are struggling there, and samba and other music genres would say that. It's a little bit political, like I love bossa nova, but I also kind of felt that I don't belong to the bossa nova. I don't think I was, if I was there in Brazil, from my neighborhood, for the way I spoke, I don't think, not the bossa nova, because the bossa nova I know they would accept me, but the people that would consume bossa nova, I don't think I was part of that. Bossa nova, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna say the where it was being consumed.
I get it.
It was from an elite's perspective of the world. Like a person from a poor neighborhood wouldn't be able to go to some places. To like, how are you gonna go to a Carnegie Hall concert? How are you gonna be like seeing all these collaborations that they were speaking in English and things like that? So that's why I mentioned that. I like to mention, even if I'm a bossa nova lover, I like to raise other things as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of myself, like so when I grew up I was a rebel. I mean, even within my family, my father and I were compadres. He was a jazz musician, and we were compadres. My sisters were singers too, but they were my mom's compadres, and they
Okay.
were straighter, right? And so, yeah, and I mean, over the years, always there was something else. So, there's a little part of what you're talking about that I understand because, you know, I wasn't, I mean, I could sing, let's say, choral music, regular choral music, but that wasn't where my heart lied, you know. So I understand a little bit of that, of what you're saying, and um, yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's fascinating about Brazil, and how the music flowed in and combined. Ted and I talked about that a lot because, he was so into the choro. He actually taught choro in a
Yeah.
school in Brazil, an
Yeah. Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, right? And um, oh, who is my friend? See, now I'm trying to think of my friend's name. Roberto Montero.
Oh, amazing. Amazing guitarist. Amazing.
Yeah, so he's actually come and done workshops on the history of music in Brazil, which was very interesting, you know. And yeah, so yeah, I think it's super fascinating. I think it's more fascinating than United States development. United States development seem to have kind of these real solid genres, you know, jazz, country, you know, all of these kind of solid things. And but Brazil seems like it was kind of a melting pot, you know.
Yeah,
Although I'm sure there were these certain things too, like choro, you know, but still, it was a melting pot, and there's more of a flow, and it's probably more of a human type of reaction, you know, comparing a Brazilian person to a United States person, you know. I mean, well, it's kind of like comparing Girl from Ipanema in English to Girl
yeah,
from Ipanema in Portuguese.
yeah,
It's like that, you
yeah.
know,
It's gonna, yeah,
tall
it's,
and tan and young, or Oi, que coisa, you know, I mean,
yeah,
right?
it's gonna, yeah. It I I am very grateful about bossa nova because
Yeah,
it's such a to me it's one of the music that I like the most. Okay, I love
yeah,
it. I love it. I love bossa nova so much. Um, the only thing that what I had a little what I always like to speak about it's like it's when some people, even Brazilians, like to say that that's the music that we have, that's the best music. And they wanna somehow put in a hierarchy of that's our music. Even Brazilians, no, our
yeah,
music's bossa nova, as everything else is that bothers me so much because it's
yeah,
like, of course, bossa nova. It's that it's like it's a mix of samba, and we have the jazz there, and we have orchestral things from the European worlds. It's a mix of so many cultures. In
yeah,
the Portuguese language, which is beautiful, of course, it's very refined, amazing music. But I don't just like when even Brazilians wanna make this as the best thing that we have, because it's also kind of quiets a little bit other voices, and you know, in but yeah, but I do recognize that's one of the best things I ever played. I love it. I love it. You know, I am such in love with with that music, and it was a way to actually, you know, I loved jazz musicians, man. I always loved them. I always loved jazz musicians. I studied jazz. My my actually my formation. That's how I would say. Uh,
yeah.
it was jazz. I studied jazz in school, right? So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and bossa nova was a fun way to be able to communicate with these jazz guys that I liked it. Because when I remember when I tried to play, I spent a lot of time trying to play bebop. And then I used to play my bebop in my way, and I'm always like, oh man, it seems that I'm trying to be someone here. And I was always seems that I was like a failed version of Charlie Parker. You know, I always felt that I was like, oh, I'm failing and being. And bossa nova was funny because it was a way that okay, let's use the same tune so I can play with you guys. But then when I play, I can use my own language, and then it's not everybody that likes, but I'm gonna put things from blues, from rock, from classical music. I put everything in my jazz. I don't think everybody loves it, but some people do. So
Yeah.
it's I'm very complicated to put on a to put in a when I have to release an album and I have to put a category, I suffer a little bit because because I play notes that are not only from the jazz or from the bossa nova. I put everything together as a soup, and it can be confusing.
Very Brazilian. I want to hear, I mean, should we listen to the thing that you did with Kenya, or is there something else?
That was fun because that could be a fun one because that one I did with Kenya is a classical song that was recorded by Jackson do Pandeiro, and in that song he's telling in Portuguese that he only gonna mix bossa nova, no, bebop with samba when the uncle son plays the tambourine. It's a little joke that it's a little joke that because the jazz was influencing a lot Brazil, and he's making these jokes, and Kenya he wrote the translation in Portuguese, which was great. She could find an amazing way to translate the song, and I kinda mentioned a lot of bebop phrases in there as the jokes come. So this is kind of fun way to experience. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
this was my arrangement, mixing bebop and samba.
When he realizes that is not a rumba, then I'll mix it all up. Miami and Copacabana, hot dog I will eat with a banana. Then our samba is gonna sound like this. I'll bring bebop to my son whenever Uncle Sam pick up the tambourine. When he gets to play the pandeiro and the zabumba, when he realizes that samba is not a rumba, then I'll mix it all up. Miami and Copacabana, hot dog I will eat with a banana. Then our samba is gonna sound like this. But on another note, I wanna hear the boogie woogie to batuque tamborim. Wanna hear Uncle Sam playing pandeiro, swinging to a samba brasileiro. Wanna hear Uncle Sam playing pandeiro, swinging to a samba brasileiro. I'll bring bebop into my son whenever Uncle Sam pick up the tambourine. When he gets to play the pandeiro and the zabumba, when he realizes that samba is not a rumba, then I'll mix it all up. Miami and Copacabana, hot dog I will eat with a banana. Then our samba is gonna sound like this. But on another note, I wanna hear the boogie woogie to batuque tamborim. Wanna hear Uncle Sam playing pandeiro, swinging to a samba brasileiro. Wanna hear Uncle Sam playing pandeiro, swinging to a samba brasileiro.
Wow,
It's a fun.
that's fantastic. I love
It's
that. Wow, that was really good.
did you recognize the
Oh
bebop?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, of course,
we
definitely.
we tried to come up with like we put Donna Lee in there, we put Billy's Bounce in there, like some constraint changes. Yeah, that was
That's
it's a way
perfect.
of homage.
Yeah.
I love like when jazz came in my life. it changed my brain. You know, it was like, what is that? So I love jazz. I love jazz so much, and what I just tried to do is I tried to like, how can I add to the jazz world instead of trying to. That's what it feels that jazz should be like. Okay, we all put our own way to give that language. So that's how I try to do jazz. I remember when I moved here, it was like, I'm because when I hear those my favorite ones, like when I hear Patch Metheny, when I hear these guys, somehow I want to sound like them, right? I always want to sound like, because I love them so much. Like,
Yeah.
it's like when I like, so for me, it's very, how can I explain in a way that I'm not trying to copy them? And that's why I add all these other things, because otherwise I am gonna be playing how I wanted to play like them.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it's great. That was a great thing. I heard that immediately, and that was really fun. What's this is actually a real question that I have when I'm singing and counting off things to people, you know. What's the difference or your feeling on the difference between samba and bossa nova besides tempo? Is there a difference actually?
There is a lot of difference. Like sometimes you might ask a Brazilian and they might not know, because I don't think they are.
Yeah.
The first one is political. The first one. The
Okay.
first one is, one come from
Right.
the south of Rio de Janeiro. The other one comes from the favela.
Okay. Okay.
That already changed, because what is going to change? The notion of harmony.
Okay.
So one thing that I would say that's very clear, but not going to the political world, one thing that you can differentiate very clear, I hope nobody's going to judge me, the Brazilians, but bossa nova, if you realize, the bossa nova has a conversation with the chords in a different way. So usually you're gonna hear the tensions of the chords, right? If you take like a guitar and then you get a bossa nova, usually the samba, it's gonna use the notes from the chord. So the samba, it's gonna. You can hear the harmony very clear, those major minor chords, 7 chords. As the bossa nova, you're gonna see that they're gonna do, the melody's gonna be, as the harmony, they got, I mean, my guitar is out of tune, but it's like the tensions that are, you're gonna see, like take the girl from Ipanema, right? If you take the notes, it's we are in F major. The notes are G, E, E, D, G. It sounds more, if we're samba, we would harmonize this with a C chord, because it's closer to the C chord. It's the 5th and the 3rd from a C chord.
So you're kind of saying it's a little bossa nova may be more subtle.
The bossa nova, you're gonna see that you're gonna, first of all, you're gonna have the melody will be more like towards like tensions from the chords.
Yeah, right.
As the samba, it's gonna picture you the chords that they want.
Okay. Okay.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I'm thinking of two. You know, I know favela. Is it called favela?
Yeah. That
that's
in Portuguese they call O Morro Não Tem Vez, but
okay.
that's the song.
So that's a samba.
That's a bossa nova.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
Oh,
but let's imagine that bossa nova uses the rhythm of samba.
okay.
Okay, samba, there is a lot of different kinds of samba.
Yeah.
But let's imagine that we take the Brazilian tambourine, tac, 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 and you tick, 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 tick,
That's
tick.
samba.
But the bossa nova uses that.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. But it is, I mean, basically it's a samba rhythm.
It's gonna, of course, we're gonna have a lot of bossa novas that are slower. They're gonna change the pattern. It's gonna clean a little bit. But what I feel that like, eis aqui este sambinha, eis uma nota só, que tem outras notas. If you hear, it's a samba rhythm.
Yeah.
But the melody is not samba. The melody is just one stop note. No, it's just one note that it's there that's making sense because of the harmony. If it makes sense, like we tune.
Isn't this cool, Sarah?
But when
Yeah.
you do
These
when
are
you do
questions
this,
that, I mean, I've been singing all my life, but these are questions that I never quite understand. And people say different things,
yeah,
but it's good to
yeah,
talk to you because,
I don't tend to be the one who's saying that. Oh, this is the truth. That's my
yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
But if you say like, oh,
Yeah.
this is chords over a certain melody together. This makes
Yeah.
bossa nova to me.
Yeah.
Also, the meaning of the songs. People cannot delete the meaning of the songs.
Yeah.
The meaning of the songs of a samba. Samba is gonna be talking about jokes about real issues, things like that. As bossa nova will make musical jokes. This is the little samba. They're not gonna go very political. They're gonna try
So,
to avoid that.
I mean, well, that's why I thought favela would be a samba because it was
Favela
talking
has
about political stuff.
Favela has a political perspective, trying to make us see the samba, which is amazing, right? So
Yeah.
it's they are tech, but if you take the musically, now not in a political way, if you just like,
Yeah. Okay.
if you do this, this
Yeah.
is a jazz.
Yeah.
This is a jazz tune.
What would be a samba song?
A samba song usually it's you're gonna see more major minor chords, more like tonal, like
Okay.
it's more like
Uh,
it's of course they're gonna eventually they're gonna all kind of look a little they come from the same place.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I had that experience of a teacher in school saying, play to me a samba, I want to hear samba. And I start playing all the Jobim's tunes. He said like, no, I don't want to hear bossa nova, I want to hear samba. And I was just like, I start playing all the tunes I knew, all these bossa nova name, like samba de verão, samba whatever, and none of them were bossa nova. And at the end of the thing, he said like, very good, but you didn't play any samba to me. I remember that teacher, and he was right, because samba, I gotta go and hear Cartola. I have to hear Paulinho da Viola. I have to hear Fundo de Quintal. It's the melodies. It's all about the melody.
Okay.
Okay, and the harmony. The harmony is less dense.
Yeah.
Already, if you take like a bebop or bossa nova is already is already less dense than a bebop.
Yeah.
But somebody's gonna sound like the harmony. It's gonna be like gypsy jazz.
Yeah.
When you hear gypsy jazz, that kind of harmony. This is more samba oriented.
Yeah.
So bossa nova, that is the political part of it. That's the melody part of it. It's not really about the tempo.
No.
And if when people, some people do that, like, oh, and they take a bossa nova song and try to put it very fast, and it's not gonna become samba because it's fast.
Right.
It's gonna be a bossa nova fest, a fast bossa nova.
Right.
It's just gonna be a bossa nova that's fast, and then it's
Right.
the way we construct the melody and the harmony together, and they all use samba rhythm, if it makes sense.
Well, it does. I mean, as a singer forever. So what I many times I just end up saying it's a bossa samba to the percussionist because I
Yeah,
don't know what to call it. It's like
yeah.
kind of a mixture of stuff, and the tempo has a lot to do with how it's going to come out. You
Because
know.
it could be like that. If imagine if I'm talking to people, it's like, oh, let's go more. If you're just talking about the rhythm, if you say, oh, let's go more bossa nova, of course we're gonna go slower.
Yeah.
But
Right.
and it works, and works, and works. Okay, let's do like, oh, but let's do samba. It's because if we wanna go really there, samba, it's a lot of different kinds of samba.
Yeah.
It's we could be talking. I could be talking about so many sambas here, and bossa nova is one type of samba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bossa nova is one type of samba,
Right.
and sometimes bossa nova use these other types of sambas.
Yeah.
They might mention, because we have samba de roda, samba partido alto, samba de chula, samba canção, samba enredo. It's so many samba reggae. It's so many different types of samba. Bossa nova is one type of samba. This is how I see it.
Wow. It's a very deep subject.
Yeah, it's a and some Brazilians might not argue, might not agree with me, and then it's okay. That's my that's my perspective of it. To me, it's a very political difference.
Yeah.
This is to me, it is very political difference.
Amy Molinelli is here. She said this is great. Also, Gilberto changed the guitar playing style. No, surdo in the thumb and less emphasis on the ocean of samba.
Yeah, João Gilberto was super important for the development of bossa nova because he took from he didn't create some. He was the one that made that kind of little very important way to play because he cleaned a little bit. It's the sambas they would the sambas guys they would like
Oh,
they would be like more that
yeah,
and kind of João Gilberto kind of found this jazz chords kind of, but using that, but very kind of copying the tambourine, not the American tambourine, the Brazilian tambourine, the one that's like that, and he's like
uh,
he was very important because he came with that but other people were doing this. I heard this from Roberto Menescal. Roberto Menescal said actually when they heard of oh my God, now I don't want to lose his name right now. It was this amazing jazz guitarist. Ah, that's the times when I lose names. It's gonna come eventually to my mind. It's this amazing jazz guitarist, important one. Um, that
very straight ahead guy or more modern,
yeah, it was like
like a
it was a
Joe
white
Pass
guitarist.
or
What I forgot his name. It's gonna come to me.
okay.
Um, but he said that when this album arrived there, Robert said, "Guys, we're gonna have to organize ourselves. Everybody's gonna learn one chord." And then like because they were like, we didn't have like everybody would learn one. All these bossa nova guys, and we were learning from the jazz. Barney Castle.
Okay, yeah,
And so he was just saying, when that came there, it was like, it was this chord. They were like, what chord is that? So one would come and like, okay, I think he did kind of this. And then everybody kind of trying to, that was important for the bossa nova.
Yeah.
You know, samba would play.
Yeah. Right.
João Gilberto would do like,
Yeah.
he came with the kind of jazz types of chords, you know. They all knew American music, classical music, you know, music that sometimes wouldn't even go to certain neighborhoods there. People
Yeah.
wouldn't have access to that. So, yeah, João Gilberto is we all own him so much.
Yeah. My friend June Lee, who is the creator of the Blue Whale here, and also a singer, he said, so bossa uses more tension notes on the melody, while samba limited melody within the chord note, although they both share samba in core as rhythm.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way it's like that's how I see it. And of course, the lyrics too. You know,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
if you analyze the bossa novas, you're gonna see we do have bossa novas that are like kind of samba melodies. When you play choro melodies, when you do like. No More Blues, that song, Chega de Saudade, that actually is a choro melody. Because at the second part he does.
Yeah.
Choro does the modulations.
Yeah.
2 second parts. So it's,
Right.
you know, it's everything. It's bossa nova, but has a choro influence right there, very clear. The intro he does.
Yeah.
It's melodies from choro. So eventually we are all in the same pot.
Yeah. That the gig that I was telling you about, where Amy Molinelli and Eva Scow and Nando Duarte, that music was so good. I mean, they were, and you know, it is very jazz-like in that there's a song, but it's improvised within the song, you know, and
Yeah.
and
Yes.
responsive, you know, very responsive in the moment, and of course they're great playing. You know, makes a difference, right? It's like, oh my God, you know, because the response is fabulous and you know, the chords are great, but it's and you know, listening to Ted, I also went to Brazil camp and heard lots of choro being played, and when I was there, Ginga was there, so I sat in his class like the whole time basically. And I wrote lyrics to one of his choros, his new
I
choro.
can't believe it. That is amazing.
Yeah.
To me, he's one of the strongest alive Brazilian names. To me, it's Ginga.
Yeah.
I think like unfortunately, like the world, I don't think realized like that we have this genius alive yet. Like he didn't get as popular. But I think it's like Alan Holsworth, I think here. You know, that could have been like like Ginga to me is like that. He's something else. To me,
Gorgeous. Yeah.
to me, definitely, he's one of my favorite composers all times.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you this choro, and it's just he had just written it, so he was playing it a lot, and like we were sitting in his class for hours, you know, and he got us all to sing it and play it, you know, whatever the instrument was. It was so haunting and beautiful, and changed keys and these you know, jumps, intervals, and not to mention his singing and playing. It's just like, oh my God, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, like, when Bossa Nova came in Brazil,
Yeah.
they changed how we played the guitar, right? That's why João Gilberto is very important. Because we didn't know these chords. Those sounds were different for us, right? So now and then with time, Brazil started understanding the sounds and that kind of harmonies. Ginga is doing this with the Brazilian guitar right now. the way he plays Brazilian guitar, we cannot just, oh, let's play a ginga song. And you by heart, just by ear, start playing a ginga song the way you think. It's not gonna happen. Because he created voices for the guitar in a way that's like his melodies are all based on his voicings. And there is no way that, so to me, he changed again how the guitar is played.
Wow.
That's how I see Ginga. I see that when I hear it was like, okay, that's like before and after Ginga and Brazilian music to me. I can, with no fear, I can say that. You can hear when somebody has a Ginga influence. You can hear. You're gonna play, you're gonna, okay.
He said that he got a huge influence by Duke Ellington.
Yeah, he has the Duke Ellington, a lot of Debussy. He has a lot of like this like French kind of classical thing. The way he hears things in a way. I had the chance to take lessons with Lula Galvão, who recorded many Ginga songs and all his albums. And I asked Ginga, like, Lula, how did you record these things? And he was explaining the way, like, it's very based on the way these voicings work.
Yeah.
And he's very humble. He's very humble, but he's creating a whole language, a totally different language. I have to tell, I steal from his art so much. I don't care. I'm gonna use. I steal from his art all the time. All the time when I need inspiration, I get a Ginga book and learn a song or an audio or something. Sometimes I cannot get those chords by ear.
Yeah.
I have to see the video because it's so Ginga. Well, amazing that you have that experience with him.
I loved it. And the song that I wrote English lyrics for, he came out this summer with that on a new record with his girlfriend, Anna I forget how you pronounce her name.
Oh, they are dating. I didn't know that. I didn't even know. What cool.
And it's a beautiful combination, a lot of duo and then a little bit of extra stuff. But and he came out with that song, of course, in Portuguese. But
Ana Paz.
Yeah, Paz.
Oh, yes. I didn't know that they were beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful. It's a beautiful record. And so he okayed my English lyrics, which was so interesting because I've written lyrics for a long time, but I found myself writing these English lyrics in what I considered a Brazilian style, a Brazilian outlook, because to me, the songs, not so much in English, but in Portuguese, they kind of take into consideration the highs and the lows of whatever they're talking about. So if it's about some love affair, it's in the same song. It's going to talk about the high and the low.
Right.
Which just makes me crack up. I'm just like, oh, wow, this is so great, because it's just talking about everything.
Right.
So I actually kind of wrote the English lyrics in that way, like with these kind of picturesque ideas instead of my usual writing. And I enjoyed it.
Cool.
I enjoyed that process.
How beautiful, how special. That's I can't wait to hear that. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
And one thing that you realized about Ginga, right? We're not gonna be able to transpose his songs. He only. I think the only singer that he ever transposed was for Leila Pinheiro.
Really?
Leila Pinheiro said like, oh, okay, there is a few songs that he did like create, but he's like very like, well, nobody asks like Beethoven to change his symphony. Like nobody asks like, I'm not gonna change, and that makes sense because he creates this voicings.
Yeah.
It's like. Ginga works in that key. There is no way to transpose this because
Yeah.
we need it.
That's beautiful.
Huh?
Yeah.
There's no way to transpose that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like a classical composition almost.
Yeah. Yeah. How interesting. Wow.
There is no way of, so that mentality of, oh, learn all keys. Well, this is not gonna, it's not gonna happen
Not,
with Ginga.
not for this.
Not for this. It's not gonna work.
Huh.
It's that voicing at that place. So his music, it's a music different from almost everything that I hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Wow,
think
that's
I talked a lot about Gingas because I love him.
I love that because, sometimes when I mention Ginga, people don't know who Ginga is.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's like,
I think
wow.
I think future generations, I think they will probably like even more people will be. I already see young generations playing his music,
Yeah.
and so I think it's just gonna keep going. It's sad that he didn't get as recognized as he should, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. He, at the Brazil camp, he had a young guitarist who is kind of his mentee. Ginga has been his mentor for a long time. He's American, but his mother is Brazilian. What's his name? He just got married to Natalie Cressman. Natalie?
I know what you're talking about. I've heard about it. They have a duo, right?
Yes.
They have a duo of trombone.
Yes, she plays great
I know
trombone.
who you were
And she
talking
sings
about.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he was like the translator and he was playing along with Ginga and it was really fun. It was great. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. I'd go
Yeah.
back to Brazil camp just for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great,
No, this is if whoever is listening right now, if you go watching Ginga, to me it's something that you're not gonna go wrong. Over there you're gonna find. I'm a self-taught composer, okay? And I'm gonna tell you everything I steal is from Ginga. All the orchestrations, all the things, it's from there. So the movies that I'm starting to make, it's more influenced than Ginga than John Williams, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, that's funny. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Ginga
So,
is, everything
yeah,
is there.
we didn't even really touch on, presently what you're doing. I mean, we have about 5 minutes, but yeah, so um, you've probably stepped into writing for movies already for a while, but is it giving you what you want, like writing for movies?
As we have 5 minutes, so let's see how I'm not gonna be fit. It's just gonna film right now. It's this industry that I'm trying to get in.
Yeah,
Why? Because I think it's a place that I can write diversity. I can write different types of things. I
yeah,
can write orchestral. I can write my metal guitar. I can be nylon guitar. I can do requinto. I can do everything that I like
yeah,
in that place as a narrative too. So now I've been putting a lot of energy to that. I'm not close to other things. I'm still performing. I'm still producing, and I'm going to this film world because I like the idea of using music as a tool. As I said at the beginning, I like the music when it's part of something. And when
yeah,
the music's part of telling a story, I love that. So that's what I am putting my energy right now. I've been producing
yeah,
singers. I've been producing this movies. I'm still in an independent world still, and I'm performing in the city. So hopefully I can see you and whoever is there watching, and I'll see you in town.
That's great. Yeah, and
Thanks for having me.
you're welcome. I'm gonna send you a few things. But anyway, I'm gonna send you a few things. You mentioned Lula. Could you tell me what is Lula's last name?
Lula Galvão, Galvao.
Okay.
To
I won't.
me, one of the best guitarists I ever seen in my life. I tell you this, not exaggerating. Like he to me, he's one of the best guitarists I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Uh, he's from Brasilia, Rio de Janeiro. No, Brasília, Brazil,
Yeah.
not Rio de Janeiro. He lives in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks
It's
for
really
having me.
fun.
Keep doing this. I'm so glad you were still doing things like that. Thanks for helping the community, spreading love, spreading music, spirituality. All everybody that is listening there, sharing these conversations. Let's keep music alive and make a better world, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope I see you again, and I'm going to send you some ideas for you, like for performing ideas. So, so maybe we'll bump into each other.
Okay, so send my regardings to Rocco and have a good conversation.
Okay, thank you, Wesley.